Hey folks, Sinow here, and welcome to my introduction to Guardian Raids guide video. This is one of my favorite types of content to do in Lost Ark when it comes to endgame, and hopefully by the end of this video it will become one of your favorite types of content to do too. In this video I'm going to explain why you should do Guardian Raids and go over some of the mechanics as to how Guardian Raids work, what rules are kind of applied once you go into them, and when you can unlock and start doing Guardian Raids for yourself, plus going over some of the items that you'll want to bring in order to prepare for them. So what are Guardian Raids? Guardian Raids are 4-man endgame content where 4 adventurers team up in order to defeat one large creature in a style very inspired by and reminiscent of the Monster Hunter series. If you like Monster Hunter, you might find that you love Guardian Raids. I love them myself and I like Monster Hunter too. You can start doing these at eye level 302 after you hit level 50 and do the introductory quest line in order to take you to Vern. And you can earn a variety of loot from doing Guardian Raids in order to get stronger overall in Lost Ark. So it's very worth doing these every single day that you can do so. So I can't remember the exact steps I took, but I can give you a rough idea of how to get Guardian Raids. Okay, so you need to do 2 quests in order to do it. First of all, you need to complete, or at least start a quest, pardon me, with Avel here in the Queen's Castle in Vern. You start off a quest with Avel and it will take you to Rania Village, and in particular to the Adventurers Guild here in Rania Village. So the final step is to go to your guide in Quest Journal by pressing J. There is a guide quest that you'll be able to pick up here that unlocks Guardian Raids, and then it will ask you to talk to Seyfelts, and when you talk to Seyfelts, he'll be like, Guardian Raids! What a concept, or something like that, and then you click on the board here, and that's how you start being able to do Guardian Raids in the game. You have to complete that guide quest and the other one with Annabelle in order to unlock them. So let's break down the Guardian Raid panel a little bit here, and first and foremost, one of the most important things, I think you'll all agree, the loot. In order to be able to see what items you can get from a Guardian, it's very simple. You just click on the Guardian and then go to the expected rewards panel over here. You'll notice that Guardians give you honing materials, they give you class engravings, they can give you runes, they can give you accessories, very useful stuff to have, and these rewards scale as you go up in raid level. Speaking of raid level is basically just a way for the game to separate the Guardians into brackets of 4 Guardians per bracket. You can do any Guardian that you want within a raid level if you meet the eye level requirement, which you can see here. Urnil is 302, Lumeris 340, Icy Lagoris 380, and so on and so forth. However, if you want to start doing Guardians of a higher tier, or higher raid level, pardon me, than the one predicating it, then you do need to complete all of the Guardians of the previous raid level. So if I wanted to do Flame Fox Yoho, as you can see here, I would need to complete Urnil, Lumeris, Icy Lagoros, and Virtus, which are the raid level 1 Guardians. I've already done that though, so I mean I have access here, but you also need to hit the eye level and then complete all of the previous Guardians of the previous raid level in order to do one. You can get rewards from Guardians twice per day by harvesting a Guardian soul at the end of a fight. You can see your stock of these at the top left here. You get 2 souls per day and it resets at the beginning of your daily reset. You can, however, choose to not harvest a Guardian soul if you want to fight a Guardian but you don't want the loot from it. In order to do this, you just queue up for the Guardian, and then when you're zoning in, you will see a checkbox that asks you if you want to harvest the soul, and you just click this off, and that means you can beat the Guardian without harvesting the soul. Do bear in mind that if you decide to click Harvest Guardian Soul, you beat the Guardian, but then you actually fail to press G and take the items from the Guardian Soul at the end of a fight, you will essentially be leaving an instance full of loot and just throwing it away. So please don't do this if possible, because it really sucks when you realize that you spent all that time and you've thrown away easy loot. Don't do it. If you find that you can't do 2 Guardians per day for a short period of time, you will get rest bonus, and when rest bonus bars fill up, every time you harvest a Guardian soul, you can get an extra soul. So this is kind of a nice little mechanic if you find that you're a bit too busy to play the game for a while. You will get 2 Guardian souls rather than 1 next time you decide to harvest a soul from a Guardian. This is slightly less efficient, however, than doing 2 Guardians per day, so make sure you do these every day if possible for the best amount of rewards. You can do the same Guardian twice per day, or you can do 2 different ones. There aren't any real limits on this. In order to enter a Guardian raid, you can either click matchmaking, which will match you up with people randomly who are also just waiting to enter a certain Guardian, kind of like a queue system. You can also click Find Party here, and it will take you to the Find Party panel. It's a little bit like posting up an advert, and then people can respond to the advert and apply to be in the group, and you can accept them in, and then you do the Guardian that you have specified. So this is quite good, particularly later on for Guardians that are quite tough, if you want to make sure, for instance, that you have a support and you don't want to just go in with a random composition of people who might be terrible. Who knows? Now let's take a look at battle items. So Guardian raids fall under the battle item system in Lost Ark, which, unlike leveling and chaos dungeons, which you might have been used to up until now, have restrictions on what items you can bring in and how many charges that you can use of them before they run out and you have to replenish your stock. If you do run out of charges of, let's say, HP potions and you want to replenish during a Guardian raid, you do have to go back to a supply point that you'll see when you first zone into the Guardian raid. This supply point, while you're standing in it, you can also change your skills and change what battle items you have equipped before you run out again. So you might find yourself halfway through a Guardian and realize you don't have HP potions, and if you want to replenish your HP potions, you have to run back into the circle again in order to get back your charges. I'll go over some of the more important battle items now. I won't do all of them because we'd be here all day, but these are some of the items you definitely want to be aware of when you start doing Guardian raids. First of all, as I mentioned, HP potions. All of those leveling guides that told you not to use your percentage restoration HP potions, this is why, because you can use them in Guardian raids now. By default, you get 5 charges for green and blue HP potions, but bear in mind that you actually get 7 charges and 9 charges of these purple and pink potions if you decide to use a higher tier 1 for a particularly hard Guardian raid. Next up is Panaceas. Panaceas are a really nice item that get rid of all harmful status effects on you. You won't need these for every Guardian, but certain Guardian fights, for example Yoho the Firefox, like to put, well, in the case of Yoho, it likes to put a stacking flame damage over time debuff on you, that if it stacks too many times, you start to effectively just like bleed out. And the way that you prevent this is by using Panaceas at the correct time to get rid of the debuff before it stacks too high. So bear in mind that for certain Guardian raids, you're going to want to bring these items. There are also bombs and grenades. These have a variety of effects, which include making a monster take a certain type of damage more, or doing a lot of stagger damage very quickly to a monster. One that I'll point out very quickly here in particular is the Destruction Bomb, which does level 3 weak point damage. Weak point damage is something that you might not be very used to yet if you're doing Guardian raids for the first time, but it essentially refers to a type of damage where you can break off parts of the monster, a little bit like Monster Hunter, by doing weak point damage to it. So for instance, the Guardian Scorpion, I can't remember its name, Macaroni. Macaroni the Scorpion has an electrified tail, which makes it very hard to fight. But if you do a lot of weak point damage to the tail when it becomes targetable, you can actually break it off, and then that Guardian becomes like trivial in difficulty from that point onwards. So keep Destruction Bombs in your mind for any fights that have a lot of weak point damage required, or perhaps Corrosive Bombs. There are also grenades. Grenades do varying levels of stagger damage and also different types of elemental damage. You can see what element a Guardian is weak to by mousing over this icon at the top left of the Guardian raid page, by the way, and then you can match up the grenades to its weakness to try and do a quick bit of stagger damage to it. Another item that you should all definitely be bringing into Guardian raids is the Flare. The Flare allows you to see the location of a Guardian on the minimap, and this is very useful because some of the maps are very large, and Guardians at certain percentages of HP like to basically warp to a different part of the map, and this takes up precious time where you have to try and find where the monster is warped to, and then everybody has to gather up on that part of the map together. You can make this a lot easier by using a Flare. The expected etiquette of Guardian raids is that the person who has the number 1 marker in the party panel will use a Flare at the beginning, the first person to use the Flare to discover where the Guardian is. And then after that, number 2 will use a Flare second, number 3 uses a Flare third, and so on and so forth as the Guardian warps around. Other items are a taunting scarecrow that you can put on the ground that forces the Guardian to attack this, which is nice for creating windows of damage opportunity. You can put down a campfire, which allows everybody to passively recover their HP. This is really nice when a Guardian is phasing from one area to the next and you want to get your HP back without using a potion, for example. There is also a repair shop portal scroll that allows you to go back to the start point. This is quite expensive to craft, but it allows you to immediately go back to the start point without taking up a lot of time. Oh, I nearly forgot, Phoenix Plumes can also be used in Guardian raids. If you still have a lot of potions and you decide you'd rather res on the spot to save time as opposed to going back to the start point, you can use a Phoenix Plume, although of course if you resurrect at the start point you can replenish your charges of your potions, etc. So you might want to do that instead depending on the circumstance. Speaking of resurrections, you only get 3 resurrections in Guardian raids, and then after that, if you die for real. After the 3 resurrections for your group have been used up, you can simply observe other people and wait and pray that they clear the Guardian raid and carry you through it, because you can no longer influence the fight in any way, shape, or form. If you're finding that an attempt against the Guardian isn't going very well, you can vote to abandon a run, and if you do this, it will show you how much HP was remaining for the Guardian. This is the only time that you can see how much HP a Guardian has remaining, is when you fail and you wipe or you abandon the run like this. In addition, and I've noticed that not a lot of people seem to know this, you can retry a Guardian with the same group by clicking this button up here. You don't have to leave a group the first time that you wipe. You can retry after you've got the little like abandonment max HP screen here, and it will put you back at the start point with the same group, and then you can try the Guardian again. And that was my quick beginner's guide to doing Guardian raids. This is one of my favorite types of content to do in this game, and I hope this video has been informative for you, and I hope that you enjoy doing Guardian raids if you decide to tackle them after watching this video. They start off on the easy side when you first fight Orneal, but believe me, Guardian raids get very difficult pretty quickly as you go up in the tiers, so look forward to that if you're like me and you like a challenge. This has been Sinow, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you once again to my Patreons in particular for all of their support in me making these Lost Ark guides. And stay tuned for specific guides for specific Guardian fights coming up in the very near future. Thanks so much for watching, and take care. Goodbye.